Good evening, Texas bikers across the nation and the world. This is Popeye Live, October 13th, 2021. It is 7:45 p.m. And we are glad to be back on YouTube. We had our second strike. We were off for 2 weeks, as many of you know. And yes, we missed our people on the chat line on YouTube. Because people are set in their ways, and it's pretty tough to get people to move over to Rumble. But we'll work on that because we're going to continue to use Rumble. We're going to continue to use that platform when we need to talk about a topic that YouTube doesn't like. Now, I did have some interesting conversations via email with YouTube and their minions that have control of silencing our voices. And I did have to remind them that our content was taken down on September 28th, and we were several days past our 2 weeks. And so they did make it to where we could podcast today, this afternoon, after I sent that message, or one of many, as we went back and forth over the content of that video that we were banned for. So we now have our second strike. If we get another one within the next 90 days, we'll be off, maybe permanently. So we're going to have to be careful here on the YouTube channel. And yes, we can simulcast with Rumble. And if we get to where we need to talk about a topic that we think YouTube is not going to like, then we'll go off of YouTube and then on to Rumble. And yes, we can do that while we simulcast. We can do that. And so we'll be testing all that out here over the coming weeks. And yeah, it's good to be back, everybody. Hello, Lisa Lee, Brain Damage, Solar Dutch, you guys, Forrest, how you doing? Jerry, yeah, glad to see y'all. Martin Nicholson, yes, I see you, sir. So we are ready to rumble. It's what we're ready to do. Now, we do have our podcast that we did for Milam County, the speeches we did down there, and we're going to be uploading them and putting them out there so the people of Milam County, matter of fact, we'll target that county, and then we'll send out what was said at the rally for those of them who may not have been there and they don't know what it's all about. Now, we're not finished with Milam County by a long shot. We're not finished with Judge Young by a long shot. The courts in this state and the courts across this country are corrupt. The collusion that goes on with government, the collusion that goes on between law enforcement and the prosecutors, the collusion that goes on between the prosecutors and the judges. And that's all the way from the national level, from the federal level, the DOJ, just crooked as hell, the FBI, crooked as hell. So we'll be addressing these issues as we go along, and we will not give up. We will not go away. And that's the truth of it. And yeah, Solar Dutch, I wish I was going with you guys on Friday. I will be headed the opposite direction. Headed to Arkansas for my granddaughter's wedding. Yeah. It is what it is. I can't miss that. But I will be traveling to West Texas shortly after you guys get back. I'll be traveling out there to go out to the border. And what a mess that is, everybody. What a mess. We're not going to let up on the things that are important to us. And let me say this again, and you've heard me say this for years now, that the Constitution is a great peril. And us as bikers and also any other citizen out there, the Constitution is what protects us from these tyrannical government entities, whether it's the courts, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's your local government, and yes, even school boards. Now we're getting a good taste of what bikers have been experiencing for years. For years, the whole nation's getting a taste of it. But let me ask you this. When Biden came out there today talking about the supply chain, did you get a fuzzy feeling that everything's going to be all right, that they're going to take care of it? That he was blaming the supply chain on everything but his administration and his policies? Because that's exactly why everything is so screwed up right now, is their policies. And in particular, the policies over this China virus. And mandates. Insane mandates. And also the fact that he's been getting businesses to do their bidding, if you know what I mean. So he goes to the unions, the union bosses, and being a 25-year union member, or almost 30 years, because I spent some time as a union organizer. I just wonder what Biden promised these union leaders. Because generally when things like that happen, it benefits the top dogs in the union. It doesn't necessarily filter down to the workers. Because right now what I see this as is a stopgap. He's going to rush everything. He's going to try and get enough people, enough companies involved that they can relieve the shipping, the stoppage that is in our ports. Los Angeles, Long Beach, so on. We have a big port in Houston too. We have a big port in Alabama also. Yeah. So if things are stacking up, why? You have to ask yourself, why? And we'll investigate this over the next few days. Figure out what the real stops are, besides the passing out of free money and people not going back to work. And the fact that many people are retiring in order to avoid, you know what? I want to make sure we're not thrown out again on our first night back, if you know what I mean. But OG says, hey, look, it is what it is. We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild on another channel. But yeah. So, Forrest, you say, or they personally make it worse. Forrest says, hell no, Popeye, my loads are getting smaller. We don't and can't get a lot of the products we normally haul. That's incredible. And is it stuck in the ports? You guys that are truckers? And let me tell you, the 5 had an interesting thing this afternoon, and I went, oh no. I mean, Geraldo Rivera suggested we put 18-year-olds behind the wheel, that we lower the age for a commercial driver's license to be able to drive 18-wheelers, and put kids behind the wheel. I mean, what do you think of that idea? I think it's a terrible idea. Kids nowadays at that age are not responsible. Just take a look at the people that our schools are graduating. They are inferior products. That is, unless their parents stepped in and made sure that they got a good education. And yeah, that happens in some cases, but in other cases, we've got a fleet of morons out there. So yeah. Hello, Jamon. How are you doing, buddy? Mr. Greenfield, how are you doing? Portland, Oregon. There you go. Glad to have you here. Now, we do operate on this channel, as for you people that are new, as a biker news organization. Now, what we don't do is we don't report on all the clubs they're fussing with each other. That would be disrespectful as a motorcycle club ourselves and another MC. That would be very disrespectful. But what we do, because we know that the Constitution is very important to us. And if you look at About Us at TexasBikerRadio.org, you'll find out what we're all about. We are about the Constitution, and we are about the people that have had their constitutional rights violated. And we've had that happen in our community again and again and again. Okay, let me read something here from Brain Damage. How you doing, buddy? I read an article that Cali won't inspect trucks older than 2011 anymore, and want them to buy new trucks, and that's part of the port problem. Anybody in Cali, are you able to confirm that? So maybe we'll have somebody on here from California that confirm that, somebody that maybe a trucker or works for the ports. But yeah, wow. Evening, JJ, glad to have you here. And David Sneed from Maine. Oh, and you may have heard us on the podcast last night, but I did not see your name, where we were talking about a Maine hospital, a hospital in Maine, had to close their ICU for the lack of nurses. That's just another problem. But don't worry, everybody. Buttigieg is on the job. He's on the job. He's heading up this task force. And you know what? Jen Psaki said that, hey, we've been working on that for a long time. They've been working on this supply chain deal for months. And they haven't stepped, in all this time, they haven't stepped up to do a damn thing till now. When all of a sudden the news is reporting, hey, you may not be able to get Christmas presents for your kids. But never fear, everybody. The people in D.C., they won't have to suffer at all. No, they'll be able to get their stuff. They have the money. They're special people, you know. Yeah, especially Nancy Pelosi, who she and her husband have been benefiting and raking the dough off of inside deals with companies that are selling their stocks or having an IPO or stuff like that. Oh yeah, they've been getting good deals for years and years and years, to the point they've made about 300 something million dollars. I think I read today it's about 313 or something like that. Yeah. Don't worry about them, they're taken care of. But this is our fault for re-electing these bastards decade after decade after decade. And for decades, we've been slipping into this socialist abyss. So yeah. Yeah, Cali's trying to go all electric, but now I understand even Tesla is having a problem with their electric trucks. They're having a problem with batteries. And I also hear that Tesla is having a problem with their service centers. Not very good, everybody. Not very good. So yeah. But thanks to the Southwest airline pilots and the air traffic controllers, we got a big taste this weekend. I do believe, and as I said in the podcast last night, that was a shot across the bow. Not only to the company of Southwest Airlines, who has criticized Joe Biden's mandates, but that is a shot across the bow of Joe Biden. Understand, everybody, we have the power. We do have the power. We can grind this to a halt. Now, listen to this. We may suffer for a while, but it may save us from the suffering we're going to have if these people are able to continue and get their agenda pushed through. So, yeah. So we'll see about switching to electric. The problem is they can't switch fast enough. It's too expensive. The trucking companies are seeing pie in the sky. They're seeing saving on fuel costs. It's a tremendous amount of savings. And yes, electric motors have a tremendous amount of torque. I do believe hybrids would be better than a total electric truck. Just my opinion. We'll see how they do with the batteries. We're not there yet, and they're pushing it. But there's been delay after delay after delay. That's what we see. So we're going to be busy, everybody. We're going to be busy. And you know what? These truckers, these pilots, these air traffic controllers, everybody that has a say in this, we need to back them up. We need to back them up, because I'm saying shut it down, baby. Shut it down. And tell them why. Tell them why. Yeah. Yeah, and as OG brought up last night, JJ, that in California they were asking people not to charge their electric vehicles because the electrical grid is unstable, to say the least. It is unstable. And listen to this, everybody. They're talking about home heating bills for the coming winter can go up as much as 50%, everybody. 50%. That's talking home heating bills. That's not even talking about filling up your car. But you know what? Every time we fill up, every time we pay a bill that goes higher, every time we can't get a product, and I don't see it affecting Texas that much right now. Texas is open for business, unlike other places, blue states. We are open for business, and I don't see any shortages as of yet. I do see higher prices, is what we see. And so, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of people that are not going to take the jab. There's a lot that are not going to. And we're not saying don't reject the vaccine. OG had it. His wife had it, the jab, and they're fine. They're fine. I have had the COVID. And according to people out there, I have immunity. Don't know how long. Don't know how long. But maybe I'm a test tube. You know, the challenge is out there. And we, over the past months, our motorcycle club, we've been around hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Everybody shaking hands, everybody hugging each other, everybody glad to see each other. Glad to get out there and do the things we love, riding motorcycles, getting out there and seeking redress for our brothers, seeking redress even for civilians. And yeah, now I'm hearing tonight they're having trouble with the water in Michigan again. In a predominantly black city, and I think they've been through this before with lead in the water. Democrats keep promising, they keep promising blacks that they're going to fix things. But instead, what they've done is they've become the party of the immigrant. They have become the party of the immigrant. They no longer give a damn about American citizens. They have, I don't want to say no longer, they haven't ever, the Democrats haven't ever given a damn about black neighborhoods. And now we see them pissing away not billions, but trillions of dollars on immigrants, on foreign countries, while our neighborhoods suffer, including black neighborhoods, like Sand Branch, Texas, that were hauling water for over 30 years in their neighborhood, hauling water into their neighborhood. You think the Michigan thing was bad? They didn't have nothing on Sand Branch because a water treatment plant moved in next to their neighborhood and contaminated all the wells that they depended on for water. That neighborhood had been there since 1887. It's an old slave community. And it broke our heart to go out there and see, especially the elderly, black people that were hauling water back to their homes. That's water to drink, water to bathe with, water to wash dishes with, and yes, water to flush their sewage. It was crazy. Who asked me? Let me see. Somebody asked if they were on Instagram. We're not yet, but we're looking at it, David. We're looking at it. It depends on whether it's there's a fee for doing the podcast, because we're already paying a fee through Rumble, which we don't on YouTube. YouTube, admittedly, is probably the best platform there is, but they're just screwed up. They're just screwed up with doing the bidding of government. But hey, they're not the only one. Twitter is, Facebook is. Now, we've been able to put a lot on Facebook, and really all they do is they put a deal up there saying, hey, it's this information's wrong, and this is why we think it's wrong. And then they'll quote something for Dr. Fauci. And let me tell you, Dr. Fauci, in my opinion, is part of the problem. There's a lot of mixed messages that came out of his mouth, and a lot of mixed messages behind the Biden administration, who, for months said, hey, they weren't going to take the vaccine. They didn't trust it. So think about that, everybody. Yeah. But right now, we've got a lot of work to do. It's like I said last night on a podcast last night. I said, hey, look, we got to not worry so much. I mean, we do have to worry about our family. Number one, we have to take care of our family. But you know what? How do you take care of them if the government's going to interfere? How are you going to take care of them if the government's going to make prices skyrocket? How are you going to take care of them when the government is wanting to snoop around in your bank account? So, yeah. I mean, what do you think about that? They want to look at every transaction you make, including if you go buy a couch for $600, for $500, or maybe $1,000. They need to know that. Now, let me tell you, I've done been through the stuff with the IRS back in my Tea Party days, when they tried to make us give up the names of all our members. And I said to them, hey, we don't have any members. All we got is a board, and there's 5 of us. Then they said, well, give me the passwords to your website. I called our attorney, Socolow. You probably know who he is. I called him up and I said, hey, look, they're wanting to know my damn password to the website. He said, what'd you say to them? I said, oh, hell no. You think we're idiots? But yeah, that's what they think. And even Janet Yellen said, oh, no, we're not going to look into your banking account. Does anybody believe her? Does anybody believe any of these people anymore? To think that the IRS wants to look into your bank account, wants to know any transaction over $600? Really? Anybody believe they're not going to do anything with that? If they just want to know that it's going to help them track down the people that are using loopholes, the big rich people? No, that ain't what that's all about. The reason there's loopholes for rich people is because the politicians want it that way. They pass laws within the tax codes that allows those loopholes. That's what they do. If a loophole is there for corporations to use, if a loophole is there for the filthy rich to use, it's because our government made it that way. That's how it happens. That's how it happens. It's like they said, it's like Don Huffines said, nothing happens within the state of Texas that they don't want to happen. Talking about Governor Abbott. Nothing happens that they don't want to happen. It's the same way in Washington, D.C. Nothing happens that they don't want to happen. And it's us to hold them accountable. And aren't you sick of that? Nobody's accountable to anything. The DOJ, the FBI, politicians, military leaders. Nobody's accountable. You can fuck up the whole world and nobody's accountable. Why? Because they want it that way. They want it that way. It's insanity at its best, or worse, should I say. And they think we're stupid. They think we're stupid. And people on the left think we're stupid. For not wanting to see our country go into a socialist abyss. China is robbing us blind. China has bought politicians off. And let me show you one thing right here. I bought this book today. And this weekend, while I'm in Arkansas, I'm going to read this. And I'm going to tell you about it. And here's the book. Rigged. I learned about this book yesterday. And it says Rigged. How the media, big tech, and Democrats seized our elections. By Molly Hemingway. She's a a bestseller, national bestseller. I'm going to read that this weekend. And I'll be probably recommending it depending on what I read and what I find out. But you know what? If what's in it is what I think is in it, we're going to need to make sure that our legislators, that our congressmen read it and understand what has happened. Understand what has happened to us. And so that they will have the ability to make laws to keep this from ever happening again. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Now this weekend, you see, I think we're either leaving tomorrow or Friday morning for Arkansas. And I will come on if I can. And if anything important is going on, like Biden resigning or something, you know, that would be good news. But then again, that might be bad news, because who's behind him? You know, just think about it. Who do you trust? I mean, do you trust Biden? Do you trust Kamala Harris? Do you trust Nancy Pelosi? Do you trust Chuck Schumer? Do you trust General Milley? What a piece of work that is. Yeah. Who do you trust within that administration right now? Jen Psaki, a serial liar? Mayorkas? That's another piece of work. Another serial liar. Yeah. Of course, everybody saw that video that she made with the little teenagers. I'm talking about Kamala Harris right now, where she talked to them like they were 5-year-olds about space. And speaking of space, everybody, did everybody see Bill Shatner, Captain Kirk, go to space this morning for 4 minutes? Yeah. That may be only space. Let me see, these space companies, these private companies, may be the only good thing happening out there. But let me tell you, they're selling you on the environment when they do that stuff. There's nothing on Mars. Who the hell wants to go there? The temperatures there on that planet are colder than hell. But yet Elon Musk has a dream about going to Mars. Just think of all the money that's being pissed away by these people, including the Blue Origin. And let me tell you, I'm proud for Texas. I'm proud of what they're doing in Boca Chica. I'm proud of what they're doing in Van Horn. They're getting Texas some notoriety. And yeah, the engineering is unbelievable. It really is. And they're really outperforming the government and the big companies like Boeing and others. They really are. But it shows what we can do when we put our minds to it. But maybe the money is just misplaced. The money is being pissed away around the world, and the money is being pissed away on people not of this country. Like I said, the party of the immigrants. And yes, they're going to keep flooding with these people till they get about 10 million in here. and they think they've got themselves elected forever. That's what they're going to do. And we have to stop them short of that. We have to stop them way short of that. This needs to happen when these Democrats start running for office again. And this is soon. They're going to be doing this soon. Because in March, the primaries start up. Yeah. They're going to be running. And we're going to have to hammer the shit out of them is what we're going to need to do. We're going to need to hammer everybody by saying, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. You don't do this. You don't do this to us. And you've got a finite of time to straighten it out and make things right. On the economy, on the border, on everything. On energy. And I said many times, when Trump was running for office, I said, hey, look, we need an economy. In order to come out of the funk, we need a roaring economy. And right now, we don't have anything near that. Not a damn thing. Nothing is roaring. The only thing that's roaring are their mouths. The only thing that's roaring is their minds. Full of crazy ideas. And from the beginning of climate change, back when they were saying it, we were all going to freeze to death because the climate was getting colder. We're going to freeze to death back then. And all the way to today, when they say we're all going to burn up, it's been a hoax. Now, we may get thrown off for that. I don't know. But that's what I believe. That's what I believe. We'll see what happens. You know? There's a lot of people out there think the same thing. A lot of scientists disagree with it. But we'll see, everybody. We'll see. With that, everybody. Yes, Shannon, that's right. It's a wind tone between their ears. You're exactly right. Let me tell you, I got some liberal sister-in-laws that are just out of their minds. They believe everything that CNN pumps out. They believe everything. And they want to blame it all on people with different opinions. They believe we're Neanderthals. And really, that's the truth of it all. How you doing, David Jones? How you doing? So, David, are you still going out to West Texas? Yeah. Man. With that, everybody, we're back. And look for our postings of when we'll be back on. Like I said, I will be gone till Sunday. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but hey, there is somebody here at the house. You know what I mean? I got kids. Older kids. Grown kids, yeah. Yeah. Anybody. With that, have a great evening, a great weekend. If you don't have a motorcycle, buy one. Come ride with us. We'll go have a burger and beer over at the at Strokers in Dallas. Yeah. With that, all you guys with Sons of Liberty Riders MC that are headed to West Texas, ride safe, everybody. Ride safe. Bye-bye.